folks, my name is Ben. Welcome to Shots Fired Airsoft, and today we're doing the firing test of the Vorsk VMP-1. There is an unboxing of this a couple of videos ago on the channel, however I will just briefly go over some of the features it has. So at the front we have a quick detach suppressor mount. Essentially, if you buy the Vorsk suppressor for it, it will click straight over, or you can remove it and there is a thread underneath should you wish to add your own accessories. This is a nice upgrade over the KWA-MP9, which essentially was you were limited to its one edition unless you modified the front end. We have day-glow sights on the top on the full-length rail. We have tactical rails on the sides and the bottom. We have this lovely, still a bit stiff, folding stock, which also does give you some degree of movement for coming around corners in close quarters combat, which obviously is what this is aimed at. You've got a sort of Glock-esque safety trigger, which you cannot pull unless your finger is completely in the trigger while pulling the trigger fully. And really what we have is a supposedly upgraded KWA-MP9, or based on that design at least, in a fancy new set of clothes. And I do think it looks really nice. The issue, I say, with the original MP9 is that it is kind of a brick. This is still a brick, but it's a more interesting brick, so they've done well there. But without further ado, today we're going to be doing chronograph tests, and we'll be doing shooting at about 20 meters range. Now, I would like to go further with it. The weather is a bit terrible today. It's high winds and all that sort of stuff. I don't really feel like we get a good indication of how this forms. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we go with the first chrono test. Now, I'd just like to remind you, the reason we do chronograph tests is we're looking for consistency in the firing. So, whilst overall FPS is important, if you've got a airsoft gun that say fires 450 FPS, but every other shot varies by about 40 to 50 FPS, that's not going to be great to fire. So you're better off having a lower FPS but bang on. A gas gun is going to have a gradual decline as it fires because of the pressure in the mag, but we'll see how the little Vorsk gets on. We're on 0.25 gram BBs and we are hopping a 0.25 gram BB. So let's see how we do. That's quite potent. That's very nice indeed. So that's nice. So we started out quite high. We dropped off to about 265. But just a reminder, we are on 0.25 gram BBs. So realistically, we're looking at nearer 300 FPS on a 0.2. Once the mag has settled down, the initial shots we're getting are real close to that 350 FPS cutoff point. So all in all, that's a very nice performance over the chronograph. There were no big sort of unpredictable drops. Like I say, that is normal for a gas weapon to drop like that. So overall, very impressive little performance over the chronograph there. Okay, so this is the second chronograph test, and the difference with this one is we're on fully automatic. So I'm going to try and keep this centered in the chronograph and get off a burst if I can brace it against my shoulder, and we'll see what the fire rate is. A lot, apparently. 1,281 rounds a minute, so we're firing about 20 rounds a second there. That is very impressive. About 21, 22 rounds a second. Yeah, she's quick. Let me just loose the rest of this at the target. I like it.
It is presently raining, the conditions are disgusting, but we've done the chronograph, we've had a look at the Vorsk VMP-1, now we need to know if it can hit the side of a barn door. So I'm about 18 metres away from the target. I'm going to just take some pot shots and see how we get on. We are in single shot for the minute, may do some fully auto bursts for a second test. we go, we have a lock back, so did complete the mag. That was about, I don't know, probably about 30 rounds-ish, so that's quite impressive. Good to see a gas weapon getting the full lock back after that many shots. But the target's looking pretty peppered around centre mass, which is what we were going for. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think you might go and buy one of these. I think you should. Okay, so this is shooting test 2. I'm nowhere near as far back as I was, primarily because there is quite a lot of stuff in the unit and I don't really want to accidentally pepper it with fully auto fire because we are now on fully auto. So we're going to try and keep this on target. And we have our first jam. That magazine did not allow the BB to come all the way up to the top. That is a function of the mag, not the actual gun itself. And it's probably more to do with the fact that I've loaded the BBs like a complete tosser. As you can see there. That appears to be a bit better. We'll load it back in. And continue. And we have a gas out, but we are on our last BB. So it definitely would have run through nearly that entire mag, fully auto, just burst firing, if it wasn't for the fact that I kind of fired it a good few rounds without actually BBs coming out. So that is quite impressive. I can't remember if my original KWA-MP9 could make it for a full mag on fully auto, but this can. It definitely appears to. The other thing I will mention is I only have one mag, so this mag is quite cold at the moment before we even started doing that. So on a warm day with a mag, if you want to do a full mag dump, you should be okay to do it with this. Quite impressive.
There isn't too much more to say on this, I don't think. It performs very well. This is one of the better out-of-the-box airsoft experiences that I've had. If you happen to watch more videos on the channel, whether you be a subscriber or just somebody who finds the things and starts going through vids, you will see that a lot of the things that I've had in the past don't work very well. This does. I mean, we had that mild issue with the mag not feeding during the fully auto test. I mean, to be honest, that was more to do with the fact that I'd loaded the mag pretty badly, i.e. there was a lot of sort of misplaced BBs, there were gaps in the, you know, sort of like the row of BBs down the stack, and it's more my fault than anything else. Apart from that, it has performed faultlessly. The mag has not been an issue. I was a bit worried about only having one mag because when I do these firing tests they can be a bit of a pain in the arse, purely because if you have one mag for a gun that you just happen to be reviewing, if that mag gets cold then you're sat around waiting for it to warm back up in your pocket and all this sort of stuff. Didn't have to do that with this, despite the fact that it is a very fast firing fully automatic gun. I like the overall style of it. I do prefer it to the MP9. The fact that it is, or the KWA MP9 I should say, the fact that it is pretty much a KWA MP9 with some very nice quality of life improvements, like the inbuilt folding stock if you do want to go full machine pistol mode, and you also have this thing where you do actually have a thread on the front of the gun that, should you wish to fit your own accessories, you can, without having to take it apart and swap the whole front adapter for something from, say, Lee's Machining, who make great parts, but it's 20-30 quid you don't really want to be spending on top of the money you've already spent. Gas blowbacks, you really want to save your money for, you know, mags. Mags are everything for these. You want to run one of these, you're going to need like 4 or 5 gas mags. They're probably going to be 40 quid each, so they're quite expensive. So you don't really want to be spending extra money on the gun to get it to do things it really should do out of the box, and the Vorsk does kind of address that, which is very nice indeed. I've been using this little EOTech fakey sight. Brilliant for a sort of close combat weapon like this. I've no doubt that this would probably carry BBs out a lot further. It's probably quite, it's probably quite capable of doing a decent target shoot at 50 meters. Unfortunately today, really don't have the conditions to do that. I don't want to be stood in the middle of a wet field for an hour trying to get footage of this firing 50 plus meters. So sorry about that. We may come back to it another day. Should you buy one? Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason not to. I did sort of say I would probably take it apart in this video to compare it to an MP9. However, I'll be absolutely honest, I don't have an MP9 anymore, not a KWA one anyway, so it'd be kind of pointless. Those of you who know the KWA MP9 very well will know its weaknesses anyway. This has functioned perfectly since I got it out of the box. My MP9 did not, as far as I'm aware. I had to go through, lube a lot of stuff. This has all the telltale marks that it's actually been built with proper lube, and in various pictures and video of these, you can see the lube actually leaking out between the seams in the body or the receiver. So it does have a good bit of, it feels like it's built well. It feels like it's been put together. There's, apart from there's a slight mag wiggle, but apart from that, it is very solid. There's no wobble in anything else. There's no clacking when you move it around. It just feels like a very solid piece that has been built very well. As for longevity, that was a big issue with the MP9 as well. I can't speak to that because this is a sort of like a single firing test review. I've probably put about 300 rounds through it. I've not had any problems or issues. It's always a joy when there's a new gas blowback on the market. A little while ago, I did the Golden Eagle, I can't remember the model name of it now, but real nice M4 gas blowback, and that is pretty much a rebadged Jingong or JG. However, it's really nice to see companies turning out new noisemakers, because it's very easy these days for people to fart out AEGs endlessly that are all essentially the same. So it's always nice when you get a new, well, not a new platform because this is an MP9, but it's always something to be celebrated. And this works very well, which is a huge bonus. Not all of them do. Well done, Vorsk. It is a very nice little piece of kit, and I hope they sell well for you, because I do think that it's a worthy purchase. So I've been Ben, it's been the Shots Fired Airsoft video. Thank you very much for watching, and there will be many more firing tests to come. So hope to see you there for them. Bye.